What's up everyone, my name is Bobby. Welcome to my channel, Delta Player, where I'm going to be showing you my entire Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, whatever you want to call it. There's so much in this collection that's not even funny. Today in this video, this is going to be the 2015 video. I know I'm a little bit late on that since it's already halfway through the year. I'm planning on sticking to the what average people do, which is go through these I'd say about maybe once every year, so I'm going to probably be sticking to that type of schedule. The collection, I'm not going to lie to you, is in like complete disarray right now. It's just totally in shambles. I just have games in random spots, and just it's so unorganized because I just got done moving. I'm technically all moved in now. All my stuff is over here, but for the most part, really not that organized. So we're going to start over here with my Game Boy collection, which is pretty much like the cream of the crop here. Don't mind these like extra games. These are all doubles I have that are on eBay right now ready to sell, so just ignore them for now. But what we have here is my Game Boy Advance collection for the most part, which is I'm not really going to give a shout out to too many of these. You guys can kind of get a glimpse. Obviously Pokemon, Super Mario Bros. 3, Tales of Fantasia, awesome game. The F-Zero GP Legends is actually sealed. A lot of the games are sealed here. Kirby's Nightmare and Dreamland. And then some odds and ends, some DS games. I'd say about only 3/4 of these are actually CIB. The rest actually don't have games. But for the most part, you can see there's some pretty good titles there. So, yeah, the DS game collection is actually pretty big, but it's nothing amazing. So, I'd have to say that my the handheld, like, actual CIB that I have for the console systems itself is actually way more impressive on the DS end, rather. And, obviously have the original Game Boys, and I don't know why I have two of those, just no particular reason. I have this complete in box. These are actually extremely rare. Now, not the controller itself. You can kind of get a glimpse on the side here that it's like the clear on the bottom, and then like the violet or purple or indigo, whatever you want to call it, on the top. The controller itself isn't that rare. You can only get them in Japan, but the box, to find them in the box is super rare. Maybe you could get these in America, I don't know, but I know for sure them in this style of boxing is only a Japan like exclusive, I guess. So I had this imported for like I think 30 bucks, which by today's standards and how much these go for now is actually a pretty good deal. Got some my loose amiibo here, some World of Nintendo stuff, some Mortal Kombat X tattoos. I have a ton of them, so guys, if you want one, just come on over and I'll give you one. All of my Game Boy Advance, my Game Boy Colors here. You notice that I'm missing the lime green. I had about 3 of them in my collection. For whatever reason, I felt compelled to sell them just because they go for so much more than your average Game Boy Color. So eventually I'll get one and I'll just hang on to it. I'll stop being greedy. I have my Game Boy Advances here. Only 3 of them, so not too flashy. But these are all AGS 001 models, and this purple one is probably the best in like condition Game Boy I've ever seen in my entire life. So I think that's it for this shelf. I have this really cool Mario Party 10 poster. It's made out of like this plastic type material, so it's super durable. Over here I have all my amiibos, which is Dr. Mario, obviously Pit, some Super Mario, or yeah, I guess the Super Mario version ones. And then I'm not really going to give a shout out to too many of them, but you guys can kind of get a glimpse of all the amiibo I have. Sadly, these guys have totally dropped in value lately due to the fact that people were really complaining about stocks for these things, which I was so against. I was so happy that these things were rare. I mean, you can see I don't have too many rare ones, but the second that Nintendo restocked, I totally lost faith in collecting these things. It just wasn't really fun anymore. I don't know why people were complaining about that. Now that everyone can get one, what's the fun in this? Just like any other type thing. I'm not going to rant too much about it, but that's just my opinion on the amiibo stocks. I have some Nintendo DS, 3DS XL cases. These are actually really cool. I got both these for free. I won that one in like some type of raffle or drawing or something like that off of Facebook. I have the Atari cart for E.T. Supposedly that's the worst video game ever made. The Mario Bros. For the Atari, Dracula for Sega Game Gear. I have a couple Sega Game Gear games. I got this for 5 cents at a yard sale, this Sega Dreamcast controller CIB, Mario Party DS, and then you can kind of see me in the reflection. These aren't sealed. What these are is basically, it's like, this is obviously the original Game Boy box, and around it what it is this like plastic protector. It's like a barrier. It's like it protects it, so it's not like all my games are sealed, and that's the reason they're glossy. It's just like something, so I don't have to worry about them too much whenever I'm like moving around my collection. I have some more World of Nintendo here. This is obviously Link, and then all of your original Mario guys, Link, Mario Kart, and then Fire Suit Mario. All my loose Game Boy games here, so there's a bunch of them. I have every single Pokemon card version based game, and then it's just some more random like games, I guess. I have 3 PS2 Slims. The top one was a Japanese exclusive, I believe that's called like it's like slate white or something like that, ceramic white. I think that's what it is, ceramic white. The original black slim and the platinum silver one. So those are really cool to have. Just some spare N64 games, some Donkey Kong. This is like my little Donkey Kong corner here. In the back I have Samus World and Nintendo, and I think that's Luigi back there. I can't really tell. Maybe not, I don't know, but there's some big 6 or 4.5 or whatever, how tall they were, figure back there. I have the Donkey Kong Congo drums, my top shelf, or my more expensive NES games, I guess. I really should have cleaned this up. I just kind of wanted to do a video, so it was like spur of the moment. So, I guess I'll give a shout out to a few of these. We have the original Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario Bros. 3, Contra, or I guess Super C, Rampage, Mike Tyson Punch-Out. There's Castlevania 1, or no, 2 and 3 down there, Donkey Kong, Metroid. I think that's really all the super good ones. Kid Icarus, The Legend of Zelda, and then some DS's, the original DS, the I forget what that's called, the blue one, Cobalt Blue I think it is, Game Boy Pocket, pink DS Lite, some Sega Genesis games, I believe those are spares, some CIB Game Gear games, and the Big Bowser from World of Nintendo, and this little Pelican stand that's really cool. It actually lights up whenever you plug in your Game Boy Advance to. And then down on this bottom shelf here is pretty much exclusive Sega Genesis. All my Sega Genesis games, for the most part, I guess. You guys probably can't really read any of the labels. I don't know if you really caught one of them. Was Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, which was a fantastically stupid and actually kind of a rare game. Actually, it's pretty sought after. And these are all the boxes I have for these games. And then there's some ton of Madden sports games back there, Road Rash 2, stuff like that. So Sega Genesis collection is actually pretty large, but that's really Sega's only part in the collection other than the Game Gear. I can't really think of too much else that Sega would have in this collection. But it doesn't really matter. I know you guys are mostly interested in the Nintendo stuff. So down here is kind of my literature shelf. These are all your Prima strategy guides, Nintendo Power, the Bradley games, stuff like that. So there is a ton of stuff here. You guys can kind of get a glimpse. Some of these are rarer than others. The Final Fantasies, the original Final Fantasy 3. Just trying to give a shout out to a couple of them. Wizards and Warriors. We have some Pokemon ones. The Legend of Zelda, the Wind Waker, Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons. Some Metal Gear, and Grand Theft Auto 4 and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. So yeah, really cool to have a lot of these books. Link's Awakening. Yeah, so, and here we have a ton of my Game Boy Advance cards that are loose. I'm not going to go through all those just because there's so many. But on the top you can kind of see it's the NES Classic, Links 2, The Adventure of Link. Some Game Boy Color games, pretty much all of my Sega Game Gear games, some loose, or some completed box, just very common Game Boy Advance games. And then on to the real value of my collection, which is my original Game Boy CIB collection. A lot of these, I mean, only a couple are sealed, not like, I'd say maybe 3 are sealed. I know I talk about this almost every time in my videos, which is my Mega Man 4 CIB. Probably one of the most expensive items in my collection that I'm going to keep. I'll be showcasing a little bit later in the video my most expensive item I've ever held in my collection. And I'm actually trying to sell it. I'm too young to be holding on to something of that type of value if it doesn't have wheels or if I can't live in it. So I'm probably going to be selling what that item is. But we have all 3 Super Mario Lands here, the 1 through 3, which is pretty cool. Wario Land probably being the best. I really like that game. Just a couple more, the Zelda, Donkey Kong, Metroid, and then 3 CIB Game Boy Advances here. So those are really cool. Just some random other games. The F1 racing game, the big box, so that's really cool to have. Some more Pokemon games, and I think that does it for this side, other than a couple of random posters I have, some collector's edition boxes. Like I said, not unpacked yet, so all these need a place to find home. My 3 Fantastic consoles, so I have the Watermelon Red, the Ice Blue, and the Jungle Green is around here somewhere. I have the controller. Oh yeah, it's over here. All my stuff is just so disorganized. A bunch of posters, so I have a really cool, massive Star Wars Battlefront poster with a couple AT-ATs and stuff like that. My Super Mario Bros. 3 poster and a Super Mario Kart poster. Some store standees. There's the Jungle Green. This really cool thing my girlfriend got me, which is like a mystery block and just some regular blocks. It lights up. This is a PlayStation 2 like box, the Slim for the black model, so that's really cool to have. My other World of Nintendo, I have Fox, Luigi, and Toad. Alright, so that pretty much does it for this side of the room. This is pretty much just handheld stuff and just the knickknacks. I totally forgot to mention the original Xbox in box, but anything you guys didn't see that I forgot to mention, like the GameCube back there, complete in box, just don't hesitate to leave a comment, because maybe other people can see it and enjoy it, because there's so much stuff here, it's hard for me to notice every single thing that are on these shelves, just because it's all like little knickknacks and stuff. But on to bigger and better things, which I have over here, which is my main shelf with all my like real games, my good games, stuff like that. I guess we'll start at the top and just work our way down. We have the CIB Wii, which is the black console, and the CIB white Wii console. I gotta stop saying CIB. If you guys don't know, CIB means complete in box. So just assume everything I'm showing you, unless I point it out, it is complete in box. I got all these. These are all three are sealed, which are the PDP wired fight pads. So we have Mario's version and Link's version. We also have the Super Smash Bros. Wii U GameCube style controller. These are all not set up how they're supposed to be, so just bear with me, guys. I'm sorry. We have a DS Mario lunchbox, this little mystery block which has mints in it, a Call of Duty Veterans Endowment dog tag, so that's really cool. I believe if you buy that, all proceeds or a portion of the proceeds go to Wounded Warrior Foundation, so that's really cool. A Nintendo 64 original box. This is the original. It isn't like the Atomic Purple or anything like that. Another free, I got all my like Nintendo DS cases for free, so this is like the original Super Mario Bros. Nintendo 3DS XL case, a N7 from Mass Effect. Obviously this is like a little Velcro patch. Some GameStop employee gave this to me for free, so even though I really talked down on GameStop employees, that guy was nice enough to hook me up. We have an official, this is official Sony PlayStation 4 pen. This is only given to PlayStation 4 executives. I'm totally kidding. I'm sure this is just some random pen. This is also at GameStop. They had like a little jar of them, so I took one. So it's just kind of cool to think that like this was like some official PlayStation 4 Sony product. But I'm sure that they're completely a dime a dozen. I have 4 Rumble packs here. Obviously, I have to have the 4 just because if, say, I have a party over or something like that, which I never do. But I mean, it's kind of cool just to have the ability to have 4 Rumble packs for all 4 players that have the ability to play on the console itself. Like here, this is kind of weird because it's not with the actual figure itself, but this is obviously a Spartan laser and a grenade. I have some ODST figurine on this shelf somewhere, or he's buried in storage somewhere. I have no idea, but I do have an ODST Halo figurine that would normally hold the Spartan laser and stuff like that. Just some random expansion pack and memory card. What else do we have on the top shelf here? We have a Halo book, some more Nintendo knickknacks, a Nintendo 2DS, and this Peach Wii controller. Now, interesting thing about this Peach Wii controller, there is no controller inside, like there's nothing in it. This is actually a 4 display only. There's no way I'm going to be able to get this thing to focus, but just trust me on that. There should be a barcode normally there. Same goes for this this Wii U box. These are actually store promotional displays, so they're actually pretty rare. You can't buy these or anything like that just because they're only put out in the stores to promote the item, and that's it. They're not supposed to get into the public's hands. Not really going to tell you the secrets I have for acquiring these things, just because they're kind of weird, or watch my other videos and I'm sure you can figure it out. I got this really cool like Rubik's Cube style Super Mario Maker, so that's really cool. They have like levels on the side and different stuff like that. This World of Nintendo like store display also, I was able to get that. One of the Target employees hooked me up with that. And a bunch of the plushies. Some of these are third-party, but for the most part, these are all licensed Nintendo products. And I guess that's it for the top shelf. So we can move on to the bottom shelf here, or the top shelf on the bottom row. And we have a bunch of good games here. This camera is just not going to like focus with me. I have no idea why. I'm trying to get it to do something here. Okay, that's a little bit better. I have some exterior lighting going on. So we have ActRaisers, Castlevania 4, Donkey Kong Country, Diddy Kong's Quest, Donkey Kong Country, Dixie Kong's Double Trouble, Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, Illusion of Gaia, Kirby's Dream Course, Kirby Superstar. It's hard to like read through these because I'm like reading through them through the camera. It's so difficult. We have Star Fox, Super Mario All-Stars, Street Fighter 2, Mega Man X, Super Mario Kart, Super Metroid, Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, The Legend of Zelda, and normally in this little slot here is Super Mario World. I actually have that in my system itself right now, and then just a bunch of miscellaneous titles that no one really cares about. I'm not really going to read through them. You guys can kind of get a glimpse. Maybe give a shout out to a couple of them. Unit Racers, obviously, it's an awesome, probably one of the best racing games on that generation of console. Pilot Wings, awesome. Wario Woods, yeah, so there's not too much on these shelves, just kind of shovelware. The Game Boy player is actually really cool. I have the Super Nintendo cleaning kit here, and I think that wraps it up for that shelf. So the Super Nintendo collection is actually pretty large. I guess we'll skip to the boxes next. So these are all the boxes that I have for this system. Batman Forever, Warriors Woods, The Rocketeer, Pilot Wings, Kablooey, Super Punch-Out, NBA Jam Tournament Edition, Super Mario World, kind of a rare box, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario All-Stars, Mega Man, Mortal Kombat, The Lion King, Pinocchio, Yoshi Safari, Star Fox, Sequest, Tin Star, Stunt Race FX, and Donkey Kong Country, the original. So these are all obviously taken out of the box and then put on the shelves, so the collection actually looks bigger than it actually is. And so don't really think I have double copies of all these games. I just do this so I don't put wear on the boxes themselves. So now moving on to a little bit more modern collection here. Let me pause the video real quick. I gotta move all this stuff out of the way so this can be more professional. I'm sorry guys, so unprofessional of me. Alright, we're back up now. I have a bunch of loose games here. These are nothing really to sneeze about. Super Mario Sunshine, awesome game. You guys can kind of get a glimpse of everything here. I guess every shelf now I'm just gonna be, you guys can get a glimpse. Sorry guys, this is my first video where I have to consistently talk for a super long period of time, and it's kind of hard. I'm not really that what's the word, articulate with my words yet, so it's kind of hard to speak this fluently and talk professionally for this long without getting tongue-tied and looking like a complete idiot. So yeah, after I've talked completely through my entire GameCube collection, you guys can see the good titles and see some of the not good titles. But this is probably where my favorite game of all time is located, which is Star Fox Adventures, a truly hated game by the most of the community, but in my opinion, the best game ever made. I did a Let's Play on that. I'll put a link on the screen right now, and you guys can check that out. But enough advertising, let's get to some of the really good games on Nintendo's roster. These are super cool to have all these boxes for my Nintendo 64 collection. We have Turok, Battle Tanks, obviously Zelda Ocarina of Time, have to have that CIB. Super Mario 64, just some really great games here. Some of these aren't too great. Mario Kart 64, Star Wars Shadow of the Empire, Mortal Kombat. We have just I can't get over how awesome this part of my collection is. Donkey Kong 64, just some random odds and ends. Glover, a CIB Nintendo Yellow controller. And then Star Fox here, and then obviously we have some Spartan. I know this isn't Master Chief, I was corrected on that. I was told it was Caboose from Red vs. Blue, but I have no idea. You can kind of see me in the reflection of his visor. So if you guys know what Spartan this is, please feel free to let me know in the comments. Alright, so we have the little Toad figure here, just a bunch of PlayStation 1 games. It's just so cool to have this much diversity, I guess that's the right word, of consoles in my collection. Some PSP, this is kind of the Sony shelf, I guess. Some big box PlayStation games, the PS1, I guess you'd call this the mini console with the attachment screen, so that's really cool to have. This little Star Wars figure thing here, where it's like a mirror. I don't know if you really see Darth Vader on one side and then Yoda on one side. It's kind of like a trick with a mirror they have. Whenever I was a little kid, this thing blew my mind. I could not understand how that thing worked. Down here, just pretty much all my NES games for the most part. Trying to get this shadow out of the way here. Jesus Christ. I'm not gonna talk about too many here because I wasn't really a big fan of the NES. It was before my time. I was born in 1994, so I didn't really get to enjoy it. My first console was the Super Nintendo, and that will probably be my forever favorite console next to the GameCube and possibly Xbox 360. I had a lot of fun on all three of those consoles. These are all my N64 games here. For the most part, I can't read you really any of these because Nintendo's retarded and didn't put on Lena labels, so I have no idea why they didn't do that. I'm sure you guys can recognize a lot of these. I have a Game Shark back there. And then more of my high dollar ones, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Mario Party 3, Harvest Moon 64, Zelda, Majora's Mask, and Super Smash Bros. So there's a bunch more in there that are a little high dollar, but not really worth the time to try and wade through them and find them. But yeah, awesome console. A lot of people ragged on it, but I love the N64. I love growing up on it. Alright, so the last shelf on this one is all my PlayStation 2 games. Nothing really to sneeze about here. I mean, there's some great ones. I have the Grand Theft Auto, pretty much every game that was ever made for the PlayStation 2. For the Grand Theft Auto series on here, a bunch of N64 manuals. This is about maybe half of my PlayStation 2 collection. The rest is back in storage. I have so much back in storage right now. Just the apartment I'm in right now just can't handle the Nintendo-ness of my collection. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I can't believe I got through this video. It's going to take so much editing because I had to pause it so many times. These nice little jump cuts. But so yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. And I hope to see you guys soon in 2016 for the next update. All right, peace.